Let's continue on the same event because there's loads going on here. There's Brandon Figueroa versus Jesse Magdaleno.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that one?
Jesse, there was a time, I think it was at 122 pounds. He was a champion, had actually defeated Nonito Donaire. So he was, him and his brother, his brother Diego, they were seen as, two good fighters. Jesse was, I think, Diego was proven. Jesse was seen as probably to be the better one. Yeah. Runs to the dog bay and gets slapped up a bit. Got stopped, I believe. And that's how we learned about Isaac Dogbe. Kind of has been on the lower level, steps up, fights Raymond Ford, and gets clearly defeated. So now he goes to fight Brandon Figueroa, who's a whirlwind, right? I mean, 122 stops Luis Neri there to win a strap. Mm-hmm. Has a great fight with Brandon Fulton. Actually, a fight that I would love to rewatch one of these days, because there is a bit of controversy there. Brandon Figueroa, this is a guy that was throwing over 100 punches per round those last three in a championship fight with fucking Stephen Fulton. So he's definitely a dude. Moved up to 126. Was getting outboxed by Castro. I had him down on the cards, and pulls some shit out of his ass, knocks him out.
That's a good little run of names there, isn't it? Really, to be fair, like Sayo's been a champion as well.
Yeah. I mean, look, Neri fighting for Undisputed. Stephen Fulton fought for Undisputed, former unified champ. Castro, a guy nobody knows probably, but a dude that is actually a really good fighter. Masayo, former champion, right? Brandon Figueroa, I think I think Masayo moved up for that fight. It was a good performance from him. Masayo just wasn't throwing enough punches. So we see what happens with that. Brandon, he's a whirlwind, so I mean, I expect him to stop Jesse Magdaleno. No offense to Magdaleno, but Brandon Figueroa is just he's a larger man for this weight class. He throws so many punches, and Jesse just hasn't been, like I said, sharp enough to go ahead and see the final bell, I believe.
Yeah, I see that as well. Cool. Moving on, Mario Barios in against Maidana. First name Fabian.
Mm-hmm.
Any ideas on that one?
Yeah, so that is the younger brother of Marcos Maidana.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, I forgot his nickname, but he's basically seen as a big puncher.
TNT.
TNT. Yeah. So a little bit undisciplined from what I've heard, but definitely seen as a big puncher. You see, he has a loss against what is that? Kimov, I believe. Kimov is Kilmov. I'm sorry. No, he knocked him out. I'm sorry. It's Paro. Paro is a South American guy. Decent record. So that probably they didn't really look at those half rounds. That's hilarious. You're just like, all right, guy more experience, whatever. Then he has this weird loss in Mexico. They stopped the fight the 7th round, which is something you see in Mexico. Sometimes they do like 9 rounders, 11 rounders. Yeah, really strange.
Okay.
So since then, it's just been fighting back in, near his home.
Mm-hmm.
And now gets this big opportunity against Barios. Barios, guy that started from 122, but is like 5'11", tall as hell.
Yeah.
Worked his way up, got a Tank fight, had a good performance against Tank. Very good. They get stopped. Then they said, all right, no problem. We're going to bring you back. Now you got to face, former unified champion Keith Thurman while you're moving up. They say he looked like Avatar with how his nose got broken, goes, gets with Bob Santos again, who he's with early in his career. Has a good performance against Giovanni Santiago, a guy that's been in there with Gary Anton and Adrian Bronner. Then he goes against Ugas, which was a real test. Even though Ugas hadn't fought since he got his face broken, Ugas is a guy with a great amateur background, good welterweight career.
Yeah.
Really, brought his career back from the dead after, some struggles at 140. And, man, he could have stopped Ugas. Different referee, different result. Still gets the win. And we'll see what happens. I haven't watched Fabian Maidana. It's dangerous always against a puncher. But you would just have to, think they have this for, entertainment purposes. And but Mario Barrios, I think there's a lot of big fights out there for him. So I would expect Barrios to pull out the victory.
Yeah. Cool. All right, before we move on, just looking through the comments, there's been some good chat going on in there. I liked this question by heavy Chevy guy. Does Canelo retire if he gets KO'd?
Oof.
I don't think he would.
The Mexican pride, yeah. The Mexican pride won't let him. No, he has to run that back or, do what he did with Bivol, avoid it, the rematch.
Yeah, I think he brings too much money to the plate when he performs. So even if he lost, he's still going to sell out arenas and make a shitload more money than he already has. So I wouldn't suggest so. Munguia can't let Canelo dictate the pace. Munguia needs to establish his pace. Canelo, there's LeBron James in the ring. He slows the game down, then it's all bad for the opponent.
Yeah, that's what the best fighters are able to do, to dictate the pace. Fight at the pace they want to give themselves the best opportunity. I mean, we saw in the last fight, right? Manuel Medina was able to dictate the pace to where, he was able to control, throw as many punches as he wanted and get the fuck out of Dodge. And then do it all over again. That's why I expect Brandon Figueroa to stop Jesse. Jesse's not a high output guy. So when you're uncomfortable, a lot of times when things aren't going your way, in the fight game, that's not good. That's how you get stopped.
Okay. I mean, there's loads more on here, is it?
There's a lot of great fights.
Yeah, Stanionis is a good name.
Yeah, like with Stanionis, Gabriel Maestre. If you remember Maestre, he had that controversial fight against Michael Fox. I mean, he got dropped. I mean, he got thoroughly outboxed, and they give him the decision. And then all of a sudden, now WBA starts eliminating all of their secondary titles and such. Then he comes back, stops Devin Alexander, and then stops Trayvon Marshall, who was a prospect that people were starting to really look forward to. I mean, he hurt him bad. And now he gets the Stanionis fight, which we haven't seen Stanionis in a while.
For ages,
part of because of his own decisions. Virgil Ortiz, we saw him, drop out a couple times.
Yeah,
try to remake it. So it's unknown what to expect. I think Stanionis has a great jab, but Maestro's shown you, man, he's no one to overlook.
Okay, cool. Quite an interesting one, I suppose. Then, any others you want to touch on before we move on?
Yeah, real quick, I just want to talk about Jesus Ramos coming back after, his people call it controversy loss to Lubin. He's facing a big puncher against Johan Gonzalez. Now, when Gonzalez has stepped up, he hasn't, he's lost a couple of times and had a decision win. But I mean, he's like 34-2 with like 33 stoppages. They're not putting Jesus Ramos. They're not giving him a layup here. So he's going to have to show his skills. And I fully expect him to go ahead and pull a victory out. But, the card doesn't have sizzling matchups, but it's actually, by name value, but it's actually some pretty good fights there. It might make for a good product in the ring. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll move on because there's plenty of others to cover. So yeah, that's interesting card to look forward to.
Average boxing fan will kill me. Shout out Alan Picasso. He likes that guy. He's a Mexican, tall for the weight class. He's also on the undercard.
Perfect.